know who I am? Baby, baby, baby. Do you know who you are?
Yeah, I'm Robin. Hello.
Hello. I do know who I am. My name is Michelle, and I am ashamed to admit that I binged almost all of Daisy Jones and the Six. Which,
Is that a song from Daisy Jones and the Six?
Yeah.
You see, I didn't see Daisy Jones and the Five, so I'm worried about watching that. I feel like I'll be behind.
That is the dad joke to end all dad jokes.
Yeah.
For those of you who are returning,
are you aware of the
back.
Madness of King George thing, the movie thing?
What? The film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So it was called The Madness of George the
Third.
And a lot of Americans, sorry American listeners, expressed that they didn't want to go and see it because they didn't see the madness of King George 1 and 2.
Stop it. That is not true because the film was...
And in America, they had to change the name for that reason.
Oh, okay.
It's true.
I have a similar anecdote. All right, that is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
I don't believe you, but that is funny.
Not to dig on Americans. It didn't pass the test.
Welcome back. If it's been a while, my name is Michelle. I don't need reminding, as I said in our coverage of MAFs, that I'm very freshly bereaved, but you might need reminding that's why we took a hiatus. But we're back now, and we're getting into the swing of things. We are coming towards the end of MAFs Australia Season 10. If you're not watching it, come to our Facebook group and get some advice on that. Blighty Day Bays on Facebook, BAES. My co-host, as always, well, not as always. Yeah, as always.
Yeah, for this.
Is my husband, Robin.
My co-host is always a funny phrase, isn't it? It's like when people go, my singer, you know?
Is that the role that you play in your mind? Are you the singer?
I'm the host and you're the co-host.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting.
Are we Michelle and Robin or Robin and Michelle?
I think Robin and Michelle sounds better.
But they're both 2-syllable names. So usually, like sometimes people think you do it alphabetically, but you don't, right? You do the shorter name and then the longer one, like Abbott and Costello, right?
What about Buckingham Nicks?
Well, that's just Lindsay Buckingham being a fucking monomaniac, isn't it?
You think?
But then Nick's Buckingham wouldn't work. I mean, it sounds like one name. Who says Nick Buckingham? No one knows what we're talking about. Lindsay Buckingham and Stevie Nicks had their own band before Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
You played me some the other day and it was dog shit. It wasn't dog shit.
You're speaking out of turn. Meredith Constant from Constant Reality Check podcast is very knowledgeable in this particular topic. She is a Lindsay Buckingham mega fan. I think it's super fan. I think it's safe to say.
Fine. It wasn't dog shit. I take it back.
So people do know what you're talking about.
But it was very much about listen to what a great guitar player I am. And it turns out he's better than I thought he was.
He's very good.
Very good. Anyway, the hottest, latest news from the music scene. All the current affairs.
No,
right
it just makes me sad because Christine McVie passed away the same week as my dad.
I had a guitar lesson today, and my guitar teacher is considerably younger than me, and just constantly goes, so yeah, such and such, and I'm like, nope. If it was after 2002, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
I'm the same.
I did play him a whole bunch of Megan Thee Stallion, though.
You did?
Yeah, which he wasn't that familiar with. He liked it.
Oh, we love Megan Thee Stallion.
We got to talking about 90s R&B. You should hang.
No, I want you to keep... That's like your therapy. I think you need to keep that part of your life private. Like, that needs to be the place where you go to complain about me.
Yeah, we did 5 minutes of guitar stuff and like 55 minutes of talking bullshit. I have to say, about halfway through though, I was like, could we sort of paying for this? It's like if you went to get your hair cut and instead of talking relentlessly while cutting your hair, they just talked relentlessly and your hair wasn't actually getting any shorter.
Yeah, our listeners might know the feeling because they might at this point wonder why we're here and why we're talking all this rubbish.
People come for this.
They do?
No.
Let us know if you're more interested in the back and forth of the minutia than you are in the recap. Today we are recapping 90 Day Fiance the Other Way. Insiders know it as TOW, TOW. Yeah. Season 4, episode 7?
7. Drop by drop, the river rises.
Yes.
Say that quickly.
Drop by drop, the river rises.
It's the river rises. It's quite hard.
Maybe for you. Maybe you didn't learn red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
I learned red lorry, yellow lorry. I don't know why yours is a leather version.
What?
Yeah.
Honestly, I am learning new things every day.
We're decent truck driving folk here in Britain. Where you come from, it's all kinky leather sex parties.
Well, the gentleman who attends to my persistent back, neck, and shoulder pain.
Mahmoud.
His name is not Mahmoud, it's Tomaj.
I know, that was a reference to...
Oh, to Joan and Jericho.
Joan and Jericho, yeah. Although, no, we are calling your new bat guy Florian.
Yeah, we are. He sounds exactly like Florian.
You just have this strawberry on your back.
His brother teaches English in his native country. And in that country, which I won't give away because I just, I think
You're protecting the anonymity
I'm protecting
of the
the anonymity of the entire country. They teach
Pressure.
They teach English. They teach American English. So he came here to visit for the first time, and he was like, What is this weird accent?
Yeah, what's the fucking pavement?
Legit. No, seriously. I wasn't aware. I remember when my sister was teaching English in Spain, she was teaching British English. So it was the other way around. She was like, what does it mean to mend a lorry?
That's the show with Baby Yoda, right?
I was hoping you'd go for that, and you did. Anyway, yeah. So we haven't touched on this season in a long time. I really like it. I think it's one of the better seasons of all the franchises of this show. I think.
Yep. There's no fat on it apart from one thing, and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will. So. Any announcements? Everyone loves announcements. Yes, the Patreon is remaining on pause for the time being. We are easing back into it. We will be covering We will be covering Seeking Brother Husband, which premieres on Sunday, so we're very excited about that.
I've got to do some music for that then.
Yeah, well, that will replace Married at First Sight Australia as our second show. And look, if you really want us to do Love is Blind, we might do lighter coverage of that. We can't do episode by episode. We might do... I don't want to make any promises because I really didn't like it last time. It really upset me, and I'm kind of sensitive. So I might, we might do a mid, once every 3 episodes or something. Tell us.
Right, we're not here for all your needs. We're just here for some of them.
We're here for some of them.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I've done a little poll on Facebook to see if any of the Vanderpump heads want to hear.
Vanderpunks, they should be called. No?
Nah, you don't really get it because you weren't there, and that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what I am going to do is talk to myself about it.
Wow.
In other words, yeah, or I might talk to. Look, I don't know. My feeling is I don't want to issue my summary judgment until after the reunion airs, because I think that's when my analysis will be most beneficial. But if you're interested in knowing what I think, just DM me. I really don't mind talking about it. I love talking about this stuff.
There you go.
So my DMs are open if you want to talk about Vanderpump and all of those things. Team Ariana, obviously, that's all I have to say on the matter right now. So let's get started. Let's get into these couples. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's start with Gabe and Isabel.
And the big guy.
And
what's his name?
The person of no consequence whose opinion matters not one iota.
With your opinion that is of no consequence at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is
We'll call him Tom. Tom York.
No. Tom York's opinion is of great consequence. Look, I don't like this guy. I don't like this quote unquote friend. I think the only thing that is demonstrated here is that Gabe is not really ready for this. I know that the big issue is about telling Isabel's parents that Gabe is trans. I just want to say very quickly, I don't feel that it's my place, nor is it Robin's place to talk about trans people's bodies.
When is the right time to tell people anything like that?
Like
you do
that.
You, bro.
Everybody's free. Everybody's free. Everybody's free to feel good.
Have I told my Rosala story on this podcast?
No, but not relevant to this audience, I would wager. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So we'll park it for now.
Okay.
In the interest of expediency. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so look, that's not, I don't have an opinion on that because I've never been in that position. Looking at it from the outside, if you pressed me, I would say I'm not sure what the hurry is. It all feels very fast given how religious these parents are or how religious they purport to be.
And looking at it from the outside, I will just say that there is a small part of me that is hoping for one of those beautiful moments where parents do something you don't expect them to do.
Yeah. I
love it when that happens. I loved it when Chris's mum was really accepting of her having a relationship with a woman. I loved it when Armando's mum and then his dad, came round to Kenny and stuff. I love those stories. So maybe I'll be one of them.
Here's hoping. My big concern for these two are that he doesn't realize what he's getting himself into because he is so singularly focused, tunnel vision on this one issue in their relationship, which I agree is a big, hurdle, as it were, to get through, to get past. But that cannot define their relationship. And as we've seen, there might be some jealousy issues. I mean, I was firmly on her side in that conversation. I think she put what's his name in the right place.
Just to clarify and break down what that was, she wasn't saying you can't have friends, right? Like, this is presented in, oh, look at the crazy Latin woman kind of, right?
Trope.
Yeah, because we've seen that before, and we've seen that on this show, right? It was kind of trying to be that, but what she was actually saying is, I really hate it when you speak English with people and I get cut out of the conversation and I know what this guy is actually talking about. I get a feel for it, but But all of that is massively valid, and he didn't address that. He just kept saying, "There's no problem. Hey, it's all good, guy." And nah, it's not all good.
And here's some friendly advice.
She doesn't like this guy for a fucking good reason, and the reason is he's a dickhead.
Yeah, he's a dickhead, and his opinion is of no consequence. It has no bearing on their relationship. And that's the end of that. I worry more about Gabe's business. I worry more about whether he's really prepared to be a step parent to a teenager and a pre-teenager, Miguel Angel. Yeah, I
speak Spanish to me.
I'll try, but it's all going to be swear words. And you got annoyed with me the last time I was speaking Spanish to you.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been annoyed with you since the day I met you.
That's not true at all, and you know it.
What the fuck is that picture on my television?
Nope, no digressions. Let's keep going. We have got to keep this train on the tracks, you guys, because otherwise I'm going to hear tomorrow morning, oh, I didn't get any sleep because I was up editing. Okay, let's go to Jamie and Chris.
All right.
All right, so Chris is indisposed.
I'd say this relationship's a car crash, but it seems indiscreet.
Chris is indisposed. She has taken a bed, much like I have in recent months, as though she were recovering from a Victorian wasting illness, which is how we should all treat ourselves when we, have a huge trauma in our lives.
It's a shame, isn't it, that there's not more tuberculosis in the world. That was a really good...
Robin, don't be horrible.
The old pleurisy was a good...
People are still dying from... You can say that when people stop dying from tuberculosis, okay? And while we're on the subject...
Come at us if you've died from tuberculosis.
Come at us if you're a ghost who... Yeah. Don't you dare go back and take that back. People need to know why I'm short with you all the time and why I get impatient.
I was only going to stop because I couldn't say tuberculosis. Did it then, though.
Did it. Though, and now, do you know how many people died in this country of tuberculosis?
Yes.
And I know you saw that.
Man.
I know you haven't. I know you haven't. We haven't talked about this, but now there's like a real life cordyceps fungi super thing.
What?
Yeah, it's in hospitals now.
No.
Please don't Google it. Sorry, guys. I should have put a trigger warning on that.
Now
anyway.
I feel quite good about the fact that the plant in the bathroom is dying. Fuck them all. Fungus isn't plants. Fungus isn't plants.
No. Do you see what I have to put up with?
Alfie's not going to want to eat his veg.
Just not mushrooms, which is fine.
His mother hates mushrooms.
I don't... Look, I'm not going to talk about my opinion on mushrooms. No one cares.
I love a good mushroom. Your mother loves a good mushroom.
She sure does. Yeah. She'll put them on anything.
She will.
Right. So Jamie has to go on her own to talk to her two friends. And I think this is the last time I was trying to speak Spanish to you, is when we were watching this and I was observing. So I love... I'm not saying there's a hierarchy, but I love Colombian Spanish. It sounds incredibly beautiful to me, and it is music to my ears. So hearing Jamie explain the stolen rare motorcycle, this incredibly niche subject that I wouldn't even know how to broach, was just... It was a real treat.
In German, there would be a word An elided word just for stolen rare vintage motorcycle.
No, it would be for the feeling. It would be for the vengeance that you seek when your father's rare motorcycle is stolen.
It would be for the inconvenience of the travel necessitated by your need for vengeance after someone stole your father's vintage rare motorcycle.
Yeah, and look, I don't mean to be reductive, but I know that Chris would not be awarded any damages from this. This is a criminal case.
Right.
And it's just going to put some teenager in prison. So congratulations.
Yeah.
This meth addicted 15-year-old who stole it so that he could buy OxyContin for his mom or whatever.
If only she'd had more weapons, the crime may never have happened.
Don't even joke about that. Look, it's a sad situation all around, but given all the evidence that's been presented and that Jamie laid out during that conversation, even, you have to wonder about the timing.
Yeah.
I think
this is the time to make a sacrifice for love.
The pain that Chris feels is real. I have absolutely no doubt about that. I am familiar with how trauma and past trauma is and even generational trauma is somatized. I am sympathetic to all of that. But this is, given past behaviors, I do think that this is a method through which she gets around having to talk about her honest feelings.
What I will say is, unfortunately, your back, neck, massively played up when you just arrived for what should be your pre-moon. What would you call it? The honeymoon phase before you get married and then you have a honeymoon.
Oh,
right?
You mean absolute unmitigated hell?
Well,
like when we had 6 people staying here and our shower stopped working.
It was fine. I love the smell of your family. Yeah, given that, and again, no fault of her, she's in pain.
Come at us with your pre-wedding,
pre-moon stories.
With your pre-wedding craziness stories, or if you had a super chill wedding, feel free to brag about that.
Yeah. Given that she's not been on tip-top form, right?
Right.
Maybe let that one go, is all I'm saying.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, a little
for her health.
Yeah. For her health, right? Because being on a plane apparently was what caused this. So, fuck it, I'm just going to get on another plane because vengeance! Yeah, maybe don't. But also, just for Jamie, maybe let her have one. Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe let her have the wedding date. Maybe.
On the other hand, when
you can have all the knives you want.
When I listen to Jamie, then I think, why is she in such a hurry to marry this person she doesn't want to marry?
She needs to listen more to the Shade twins. They might, every season of the show, and particularly Toe, actually.
There is a Greek chorus.
Yeah. Sometimes you get the really good Greek choruses, and these two, I want more of these two. These two are wonderful.
Yeah, they are. And they have her best interest at heart.
They do.
And look, I think this is again, it's tunnel vision. It's wanting to see the fantasy that you projected onto this person, and you're willing to overlook everything so that you can have a wedding. And God, I have been there. Mm-hmm. I have been there myself in my first marriage. I overlooked a lot of abusive behavior, coercive, controlling behavior. Ask me about that. Ask me about that if you want.
There is a lot of grubby little water buggies and limpets clinging to what is underneath the water level with Chris. Even her surface is a bit messy, but underneath is so incredibly super messy that I really think that she should have the awareness that she is a messy individual.
She's an Amy Sedaris character come to life. She is a bit of a Jerry Blank.
Yeah, but I don't want to be mean to Chris, but I really like Jerry Blank.
And I love Strangers with Candy. If you haven't seen it, by now, oh boy.
Who are you?
It's a part of the fabric of your life. But yeah, very niche.
You're saying you haven't seen Party Down next.
We need to watch the reboot of that.
See ya. See everyone.
No, you can't get off that easy.
All right, let's do another couple.
Okay. Sorry, my little window just closed.
I'll vamp, shall I? I'll just read.
No.
Nope,
you don't have to do that.
Oh.
Shall we talk about Jen?
Yeah, oh God, here we go.
God bless it. Now, we've had, and unfortunately, you haven't seen as much of this show as I have, so you don't know about the rich and storied history of foreign immigration lawyers on this here program. But
I've seen a few.
This lawyer...
I love these guys. I love the older guy who I thought that the younger guy was translating. Mm-hmm. And then the older guy, who looks a bit like my grandfather, it was a bit creepy, he started talking in English. And I was like, oh, it's one of those situations where, like, he's been speaking it all along. He just didn't want to say anything. He's just delegating conversation to the younger guy. They were brilliant.
They were. For those of you who remember Stephen and Olga, from, were they before the 90s? Anyway, young couple, and I mean young, like 20 years old.
Yeah.
He goes to an immigration lawyer in Russia, and he says words to the effect of, I have some questions. And the lawyer goes, what questions? And so that's, that guy comes up a lot in the ranking of people's favorite lawyers. But yeah, this is...
I like the really sleazy ambulance chasey guy, and I can't remember who it was.
The one on Love After Lockup?
Oh, maybe.
With the ponytail?
Maybe I'm confusing it with Laurie.
Yeah, you might be.
I like the strip mall lawyers.
Look at Clarence.
Well, they can't, can they?
No, they can't.
His name's not Clarence.
It's not Clarence, but it could have been.
It could have been Clarence. Have you all seen the cartoon Clarence?
We're doing way too many of these.
I know.
Okay, so look, Jen's in a pickle, right? Irrespective of everything else. Now, Robin, before we get to that, oh, sorry, the Frenchie bumped the mic. He's moving again.
He's got no mic technique. He's about to knock the glass off.
All right. He wants to get under the blanket because he's getting cold again.
He's got to control his heart-shaped tail.
I know. And now that the pug is looking at me like, are you fucking serious? All right. Look, now she's getting up.
See ya.
Okay. The scene where Jen has to share this bad news with Rishi and he's crying. Now, Robin, you've filmed on plein air, al fresco, in other words, right? And I don't know if you've ever had to do sound.
Yeah.
But to those of you who have never had to record sound outside, it is
a nightmare.
An unmitigated nightmare to record sound in an urban setting. Do you want to talk a little bit about why to the uninitiated? Because sometimes it looks really simple.
Yeah, the human ear hears completely different from microphones. Like our brains have got a crazy AI thing that if there's a very slight difference in frequency, we can separate them out as separate sound sources, right? But a microphone can't do that. So a car going by will just obliterate a voice. A plane going overhead will obliterate a voice. If you're in India, a fucking cow walking past is really going to mess with the sound. But I thought the guy did a masterful job.
No, it was incredible.
Really good. I wondered if they ADR'd it or something. It was beautifully done.
ADR, again, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sorry if this sounds like I'm being patronizing, but I didn't know any of this stuff before I studied film production.
But this is like fancy books. You hear a word that you don't know, or you read a word that you don't know, and you go and look it up and you learn. And that's what they're going to do. And that's fine.
They do it on, they also do it on sitcoms all the time. Like they'll deliver a line a few different ways. Yeah. When you can't necessarily see the characters is talking or the back is turned or whatever. They do it in everything.
How many takes do you reckon they had to do of him hearing this news and receiving it, which were ruined by cows, cars, trains, planes, automobiles, pugs?
I don't know, but someone has an opinion on it.
See ya, I'm out of here.
Sometimes she just barks and walks out of the room.
Can you just talk about the couples?
Like she's, yeah.
What are you fucking talking about sound engineering
Anyway,
for?
that
hate your podcast.
That scene really that scene actually endeared Rishi to me because I think those tears were genuine. I haven't thought that his feelings for her were fake. I just think he's quite immature. And again, I said this on DocuSweeties. I do believe that they met because Rishi was escorting at that hotel.
Are you repeating my theory? That was my theory.
No, it wasn't. It was mine. No tea, no shade to sex workers. Sex work is work. All the rest apply. I think they did develop feelings for each other, obviously. Anyway. Jen, your visa said not on page 243.
You had one job.
You had one job.
Yeah, it's the visa equivalent of like online food ordering, grocery ordering, when you order like a week's worth of like shopping and it comes and it all expires the next day.
Not really, because you're not.
I ordered a 6-month visa.
No, you're doing the 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife.
Oh, am I Alana
saying? Yeah, you're not.
No.
You're incorrect.
All
That's
right.
not an analogous situation. I do have a confession to make, which is that I was on a 3-month visa here and I left the country and I came back and they almost didn't let me in and they read me the riot act.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to dissuade people from visiting the United Kingdom, but just be aware that the immigration people are terrible. And
they're wonderful
really
and delightful,
mean.
and please never fuck with me. No, they are grumpy as all hell.
They are so mean.
They are.
I was coming back from Portugal once, and
maybe not other airports. Heathrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's possible that in Cardiff and Manchester and Liverpool and Edinburgh, they are delightful.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But Heathrow, they are tough work.
It's always a terrible scenario for me because I cannot fly without being drugged into a stupor.
Yeah.
And
it's basically Weekend at Bernie's.
Right. I was going to say, in case you think I'm exaggerating, I need a wheelchair the minute I get to the airport. I need to inform the cabin crew that I need to be woken up at regular intervals to ensure that I haven't wet myself.
Yeah, you're basically Mr. T, but with more gold necklaces.
What?
B.A. Baracus and the A-Team, they had to drug him to get him on a plane. I'm getting on no plane, fool. You know, no.
No, before my time. Anyway, that's how out of my mind I am when I get on a plane. When I get off a plane, similar rules apply. So despite the fact that I have, and perhaps some of you are wondering, I have indefinite leave to remain in this country. I'm not a dual citizen. I'm not a British national. So I can live here as long as I don't live outside of this country for more than like 18 months at a time or something like that. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. It's not been relevant. But you better believe that I would look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have on one occasion, I was coming back. Fortunately, this was to a smaller airport. I can't remember which one. It wasn't Heathrow. But the border agent looked at my passport that had a black line drawn on it that another border agent had put in there. God, and he said, "What's this?" And I said, I don't know. Don't you know what it is? He was like, "Well, there's a black line on your passport. What's that supposed to mean?"
Robert Louis Stevenson did it. It's the black spot.
Mate, I mean, David Sedaris devoted an entire short story to the trauma of coming in and out of the UK. So,
having said that, I once wrote the entire plot to a novel at Dulles Airport in Washington because I was challenged as to why I had a laptop computer with me if I was just on vacation. I wasn't just on vacation. I may have told this story before. I'm not going to tell it again. But yes, they are tough. They are tough in other places as well. But they're differently tough at Heathrow because they're miserably tough. It's different.
They always tell me welcome home in America, and I always cry. I cry every single time.
Yeah, whereas here they tell you, go home. Welcome to Britain.
Oh boy. No, but my favorite part of this, so I'm saying I have made similar mistakes in my 20s mind. But so I can sympathize with maybe not reading the fine print.
I don't know.
I wouldn't rearrange my entire life.
No, you don't fuck with that shit. I'm the only person, like, you know, the visa waiver form.
Yeah.
That happens with some countries, but certainly between the UK and the US, you fill in the green form, right? Which is the visa waiver form. So you don't need a visa, but you fill it in while you're on the plane. No. But I'm the only person that reads every question on that.
I know you do.
And I objectively think, well, how like, I genuinely think, was I involved in any, like, acts of genocide between the years 1939 and 1945, which is a question on the visa waiver form, or it used to be. I'm like, no, tick no.
I'm so glad your mother doesn't fly for that very reason.
Greatest story and shortest story of all time. I'll tell that. It is the greatest but shortest story of all time. My mother used to be
cabin crew.
Back in the old days before BA was called BA and it was BOAC. And you can call them air stewardesses then because, hey, it was the 60s and sexism was cool. And they always used to just get on the wrong planes. It was like, Debbie's got on that one. I was going to get on that one. It's fine. It's all sort of random. It's fun. And Michael came. Right? It was the swinging 60s. Everyone was slightly off their faces. And
your mother was beautiful. She was. Be mentioned.
Yeah, she was. And someone got on the wrong plane. So she got on this plane and sort of, you know, you just make it work. And the plane she was meant to get on crashed and everyone died.
And she's never flown since.
She's not flown since. And you know what? I don't blame her. But she's never been in a multi-story car park that's crashed. And she won't go up one of those fuckers either. No. Yeah. So, you know, whatevs.
What I loved about this exchange is that Jen told them her entire story of how she came to be there, as though they would have even not giving a shit, because look, speaking as somebody who is often has to read legal documents or is law adjacent, all information is good information.
Right.
Right. But she was talking to them like as though they would have any frame of reference for the insane plot the insane yarn that she was weaving about, I'm here to get married, but my fiance's family don't know about me and he hasn't given me the right time.
Yeah.
And I flew out of North Arkansas airport and it took me 26 hours to get here. And that they,
and they're like, go home.
They sell SIM cards in vending machines now.
Go.
Do you still need one of those?
I think you should go home.
It was a lot. There was a lot of that.
Really can't help. Go home. And she should.
Oh, bless her.
She should go home.
Bless her. She should go home. My heart breaks for her, seriously, because visa stuff it's so difficult when something like that is so out of your control, and it's a horrible thing.
What I will say is, Douglas, Martha, whatever your name is, producer of Toe, maybe you should have checked the visa. I'm just saying. Or
maybe not. Maybe this is the universe's way of course correction.
Yeah. You got 5 months of crew stuck out in India going, I thought we were doing a 6-month shoot.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
So look, nothing to see here. Mahmoud and Nicole.
I'll say it really quickly. Can't stand the storyline about Islamic men being intransigent and not being open-minded when it comes to the rules of Islam. Seen it too many times in the 90-day universe. Never want to see it again. Thank you. Good night.
I think that's fair.
It's just, it's boring to me. It's unforgiving to me. It's mean to me. It's mean on one of the world's great major world religions. I'm so sorry that's one of their rules. You can like it, you can not like it. But what you can't do is deny its reality. And that's what is happening here. And it would be fine to have this once. But we've had this so many times now. At a certain point, it feels Islamophobic. And I don't enjoy watching it.
I feel the same. Some of you, well, probably all of you realistically, may have heard Jake Anthony of Reality Gaze and I had a conversation about this the other day, and he told me that I haven't listened to their podcast yet because I don't want to listen to theirs before we record ours, obviously, because I don't want to be, too heavily influenced. But we were talking the other day about this, and something that I think that gets overlooked in every one of these storylines about Islam in general, and particularly about Muslim men and their expectations, are that you have to think about the fact that someone like Mahmoud, who's been raised very conservatively, would have been raised to believe that Islam is the only route to true happiness. And it would be confusing to him. It would be genuinely confusing to him that having converted his wife to Islam, that she would not find the joy, the beauty, the comforts, the ecstasy that, and I'm not being flippant here.
No.
It would genuinely be surprising to him that did not make her happy and make her feel fulfilled. And I honestly believe that, in a way, maybe a closer touch point for some people is another all-in religion like Orthodox Judaism, like Mormonism, where your life is centered around prayer.
Right.
And your entire objective in life is centered around that religion. So if you don't make religion your life, you will struggle.
Yeah, and you also don't get to pick and choose. That's how some parts of Christianity work. Some parts of Judaism, actually. Some parts of Hinduism. But
Some parts of Islam.
I guess. But you don't really get to pick and choose about these things. If you don't like it, it's unfortunate if you're born into it, right? Because then you have the whole thing of leaving the religion that you're born into and that friction with your family. But if you fucking converted, caveat emptor, sorry, like, it's one thing not to read your visa and see that it's only a month rather than 6 months. It's another thing to convert to Islam and then decide that you don't like Islam.
Well, I would say it's quite another thing to convert to Islam, then decide you don't like it, then move to a country and marry into a conservative Muslim family where the expectations...
Who has never said anything else to you other than this is how I feel about it.
Right. We're not saying anything new on the subject.
No.
I would just like to add that from his perspective, and obviously I'm not a Muslim man, I can't speak word for word. I imagine that there is a great deal of pressure on him that he puts on himself, that he hasn't been able to sway her, and that he hasn't been able to convince her to live the life that he loves and cherishes and wants to share with her.
Now, I will say that for the first time ever, you got a more gentle view, which I believe to be the realistic view, which is the family going, we don't push, we don't bully, we're here to help and guide. It has to happen eventually, but gentle, touchy monkey, whatever. I thought that was quite nice. And at least they showed that. But I will just say, this universe, this franchise, I think it should probably leave Islam alone for a bit. I don't think it does it very well.
I think it needs to learn through fucking it up for 11 more years.
Ugh. Really?
Look, the truth of the matter is, whether you've never met a trans person, whether you've never met a gay person, whether you've never met a Jewish person, whether you've never met a Muslim person, you can create whatever kind of enemy you want in your head.
Yeah.
But when you meet someone, even if it's on TV, when you meet someone and you become invested in someone and you care about their story and they're humanized, that has an exceptional power to create empathy where there was none before and to build bridges.
I couldn't agree more, and I love that. It's just that when it comes to Muslims on this show, it is always showing how inflexible and mean they are about these things. And I don't think many people are going to watch this show and feel a great kinship with him because of the way it's framed.
But maybe they first felt that empathy for Ziad, for example.
Yeah. But Ziad bent.
Was Ziad Muslim?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Fairly sure.
Now I'm worried he wasn't.
I'm fairly
Christian
sure.
and not Muslim.
No, well, but there were modesty issues which were similar. I remember the scene at the bar, and her arms were out.
Right, but that's a cultural thing.
It could have been a cultural thing.
Okay, sorry Ziad, if you're listening. and we've
That's fine.
misattributed that to you.
No
I'm just
one's
saying
gonna
that's an example
Yeah,
of. All right. Anyway, it's an ongoing discussion. Let us know what you think.
Let me go on the record as saying I have my own thoughts and feelings about whether women should cover up and whether the onus should be on a woman not to tantalize a man or whether the onus should be on the man to fucking restrain himself. These are my own thoughts and feelings. Let me put it this way. Much though I have great love in my heart for Islam, and I think there are many wonderful things, I personally wouldn't convert to Islam, right? Because personally, it's not for me. What I wouldn't do is convert to Islam and then tell everyone that they're wrong. I just don't think that's okay.
I don't think she's telling anyone that they're wrong. I think she's asserting the rights that she thinks, the rights that she believes she should have in this marriage that maybe she's signed away. And I'm not, again, I want to pull you up on something, Robin, which is that the rules around dress and modesty are cultural and not religious.
True.
So let's not conflate the two. And also, you are, of course, entitled to your opinion, as is everyone. I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to upset people. I'm talking about my own experience and my own interaction with Muslim women I've never been alone with a Muslim man, I guess, who was from a conservative Muslim family. But this is just my firsthand experience and knowledge. There are huge gaps there, as there are with Robin. Not that he's allowed to admit that to himself or to anyone else, but there are some knowledge gaps. So please don't assume, that we think we know everything.
Oh no, absolutely. All I'm saying is I've seen this story. Look, I can talk about a TV show with some confidence, and all I'm going to say is I've seen this before. Eventually, it starts to feel like bullying.
And I hear you, and my counterpoint to that is if we erase these narratives. Then nobody learns anything and bridges are never built. And the fear of the unknown. I'm not saying this is the best in the same way that this isn't the best representation of a lesbian relationship.
No.
Right?
Yes.
It doesn't mean
right.
We erase that from the TV narrative.
I should also say, and I'm aware we're going long, but I should also say there have been one or two different examples. The only reason I get hung up on this is that it's the same freaking thing all the time. But it isn't always that way. And as usual, I can't remember names. What's the name of the very young girl that went over someone?
Avery and Omar.
Right.
Omar and Avery.
He's the dentist, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now
prayers for them. I think they lost family in the earthquake.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
She actually did convert and bought into it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he seemed to be a lovely man. Seemed to be. And that was a much more positive kind of representation.
Yes.
All I'm saying, and please take everything in the best spirit, is just like when the representation is always about this one thing from this one side that's always very much this is wrong and everyone should be... Eventually it feels a bit bullying. But actually, to be fair, the franchise has very rarely, but occasionally shown other perspectives. And I would just like some more. That's all. Next.
Well, we got real serious there.
Yeah.
Let's go to Debbie and Oshama.
Okay.
So, how do you feel about... because I don't think we've talked about them since they appeared.
Nah.
I think they appeared. So what's your general take on this relationship before we get into the specifics of the episode?
Well, I'm really upset this week because I thought that this was beautiful. I thought this beautiful, strangely toothed, oddly faced, gangly, weird poet from the countryside, through the powers of the marvelous technology that we have now, was able to meet this absolutely batshit crazy, rather wonderful, huge, vivacious woman from the other side of the world, and kismet happened, and it was all kind of wonderful, but nah, thanks. It's not at all. And I was really disappointed. I was really hoping that I don't know, it would be beautiful.
I hear what you're saying, but it's not too late for it to be beautiful. And I know I sound
it is
naive and Pollyanna, but isn't there a dance in all of these things? Isn't there a bit of a dance that involves her going home for a period of time after they agreed that she would live in Morocco forever?
No. No, there is no dance, there is no hope. And the reason there is no dance and there is no hope is the sudden transformation before our eyes, where he just, like, his body temperature dropped 40 degrees, right? And he became cold and this mean rock. And I don't think you can come back from that. She got the ick in that moment.
She did?
Yeah. She got the ick.
I don't know that they've had, is Morocco, this isn't a fair question for me to ask because I can't, I've never been, you have, I can't base my knowledge on nickel and
most of my knowledge is about the
Azan.
goats that live in the trees and eat the argan nuts. That's what I mainly.
And I want to know all about that, but I think given how long-winded we've been today, we need to stick to the topic at hand.
Tree goats.
And also, shocker, I have diarrhea because my IBS is flaring up. So we are a little pressed for time. Look. The summary says Debbie and Oshama don't see eye to eye on their future. I'm not going to make the joke. What I will say is that is what I said on DocuSweeties, which is this is like a character that John Turturro would have played in the late 1980s in a Coen Brothers film.
Yeah.
Or in the 90s even. He could be 52 or 25. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, it's the MC Hammer syndrome.
What I'm missing from all of this is any physical chemistry of any kind between them.
I liked her when she was like, you can do the voice and I can't do the voice. I kind of want to do the voice.
What did she say?
Just that we're in separate rooms, but I'm okay with that. I'm not here for that kind of malarkey. And it reminded me a little bit of, what was the name in 90 to Fuck of the lady who lived by the seaside, the older lady? Pat.
Oh, bless her. Yeah.
It reminded me, like, she just wanted to play chess, didn't she? She wasn't...
She did. She wanted to do her flags for Jesus. But Debbie's determined. I have faith in her. You know that she is she is me. I am Debbie. In the, what is it, the blockchain universe?
Yeah, in the blockchain universe, you are the same person.
We are the same person at the same time.
Yeah.
This is both Jake Anthony and I when like 40 years from now, wandering around in our caftans.
Yeah, you're basically all of the Golden Girls condensed into one person, aren't you?
Oh my God.
Although I think about the three of us, we've already made this a deal that, you know, it's inevitable that will be the living arrangements in the future. But not Florida. And which one would I be?
Florida will be underseas by then.
Fine. Which one would I be? I'll be who is the serious one?
Oh my God. You guys, I'm really sorry. We're going to have to leave this here to ponder. Follow us at Blighty Day. Email us, blightydayfiance@gmail.com. My DMs are open. Michelle Snark on Facebook.
We have an irritable bowel catastrophe.
Yes, I need to get these dogs off my lap.
Run.
I need to get to a toilet. And Robin is going to close us out. Excuse me.
We doing this again? I've got to say goodbye to everyone.
Sorry, I really...
They love it when this happens.
I'm just being real.
Do you love it when this happens? Do you hate it? You're not sure what to do now, are you? You're like, do I press the fast forward 30 seconds button, get through the adverts a few times? If I got my playlist, fuck, I'm in the car. Okay, can I get to the lights? But I can't really pull out my phone at the lights, because that's like using my phone while I'm driving. The law says that I have to be in park mode. So can I just park while I'm at the lights and quickly? I don't want to listen to this dick closing out a podcast. This is awful. I mean, it's not like I pay for this, but this really isn't what I came here for. Ugh. It's just dead air. And I'm listening to this. What am I doing with my life? Where am I going? Who am I? What is this? See you soon.